The White House teases tariff flexibility, sending markets higher and breaking a 3-week red streak. It's Friday and time for our weekly recap. So markets ended the week higher thanks to positive tariff remarks. We saw some early optimism going in and immediately after the Fed meeting, but the rally was losing steam. However, the White House teased that there will be flexibility on reciprocal tariffs midday, causing markets to rally to cap the week. So let's break it down. Monday, luckily Irish, as markets continued last week's rally with the Fed meeting on tap. Tuesday pulled back overall, but was primarily weaker due to AI and tech names. Nvidia's annual GTC conference took place this week, and investors were likely underwhelmed by the announcements and more muted fanfare. We do continue to see AI hype falter as demand, while strong, is decelerating after the initial hyperscaler step up in buying. Then Wednesday's Fed meeting. As expected, the Fed held rates flat and continues to promote their wait and see stance. However, they did come off a bit more dovish, and markets welcomed the slight sentiment shift, or at least acknowledging the chaos. Markets rallied into the press conference and held on to the gains afterwards. Investors were still on the Fed high going into Thursday, with markets extending gains early. However, the hangover set in with markets finishing lower. And finally today, Friday. Markets were trending lower again as Fed euphoria continued to fade and caution rebuilding around macro uncertainty for next week. However, midday, the White House teased that there will be flexibility with reciprocal tariffs promised for April. Markets rallied off midday lows to finish with an optimistic Friday rally for the 4th week in a row. So what's on tap? We actually made it through a week without tariff drama, although the White House's commentary might have been an ending credits teaser. Next week, we should see focus return to tariffs. The reciprocal tariffs and twice delayed Canada and Mexico tariffs are promised for April 2nd, meaning we'll likely start hearing more chatter on them next week. Hopefully today's teaser was potentially a positive signal, and markets definitely took it that way with the closing rally. We'll see what flexibility means as details, reports, or at least rumors likely surface on the incoming April tariffs next week. Obviously, likely more volatility with markets' hopes raised for potentially reduced tariffs. We'll have to see how next week plays out.